fourth graders, and welcome back. I am Mrs. Lamondo here to talk to you all about decimals. Today we're focused on word problems. So let's check out a quick video about word problems. Sometimes people see word problems and they think, oh, this is going to be really hard because it's in sentences and it looks difficult. And so really, the math isn't going to be hard. It's just navigating the word problem that can be tricky. So let's see a little overview before we practice together.
Hello, this is Mr. Buffington, and today we are looking at decimal word problems. So what you can expect to see in this lesson is that we will do 4 word problems with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing of decimals. And in this, we'll just try and go through them pretty quickly and show you some examples of the types of questions you can expect to see in each of those categories. So here is our first example with addition. I had $3.21 and I earned $7.92. How much do I have now? Any question like this where you will be joining two groups together or two amounts together, you'll be increasing an amount by a certain amount, then you'll do that using addition of decimals. So in this case, I would write it out vertically and solve it. 321 plus 792 is equal to $11.13. Normally with a word problem, you would also have a full sentence answer, something like, I now have $11.13. And that would be how you would solve this type of question with addition or increasing with decimals. The next operation is subtraction. When you are subtracting with decimals, you are decreasing. So you have a certain amount and then you are making it less because of the the operation or because of the word problem situation. Here it is. My car had 12.3 gallons of gas. I burned 4.8 gallons on a recent trip. How much do I have left? So you start with a certain amount, you decrease it by a certain amount. And for this type of question, you'll be using subtraction. Whenever I subtract with fractions, I set them up vertically like this and then go ahead and solve just like I normally would, making sure that you line up the decimals with this question. So 12.3 minus 4.8 leaves us with 7.5. Again, what is that saying? That's saying I have 7.5 gallons of gasoline left or of fuel left in my car.
Awesome. We're going to pause there because we're not really interested in multiplying or dividing decimals at this point. Rather, our focus is on adding and subtracting decimals using word problems.
Hello, this is Mr. Buffington, and
go to some word problem practice using only addition or subtraction. Here is our first problem. It reads, there are 4 5/10 liters of milk in a pot. The chef stirs in 2 5/10 grams of salt and 1 2/10 liters of water. How much liquid is in the pot? So when we think about this one, we want to know how much all together. So when we think about that, we need to focus on, this one's kind of tricky, because we are just adding the liquid. What's liquid here? Well, we have 4 5/10 liters of milk. Salt, is that a liquid? No, that's not a liquid. And we have another 1 2/10 liters of water. So we want to add these two numbers to find out how much liquid is in the pot. That's going to be an easy one because we simply say 5 plus 2 is 7, giving away the answer. Bring down our decimal point. 4 plus 1 is 5. So we have 5 7/10 liters of liquid in the pot. Awesome. Let's take a look at our next one. Our next one says the chef took out 58 8/10 grams of butter, but then found out that he took out 6.9 grams of butter more than he needed. How much butter did he need? Well, first, he took out 54 and 8/10 grams. I always like to put the unit. And then he found out that he took out 6 and 9/10 grams more than he needed. So he had way too much. So what do you think we're going to do with these two numbers? Are we going to add or subtract to find out how much he needed? For this one, kind of tricky, we're actually going to subtract. Again, if you want to, you can totally put in a 0 as a placeholder. So we always start all the way to the right. Our unit is grams. We cannot say 8 take away 9. So we go to the 4, it becomes a 3, and this 8 becomes an 18. 18 take away 9 is 9. Bring down your decimal point. 3 take away 6, we can't do that. So we go to the 5, it becomes a 4. And this 3 becomes a 13. 13 take away 6 is 7. 4 take away 0 is 4. Our answer is the chef actually needed 47 and 9/10 grams of butter. Sometimes word problems can be tricky, but I think you'll agree the actual math they're asking us to do, not so hard. Let's check out our next one. Number 3 says, the chef is making 10 and 5/10 batches of dinner rolls. For each batch, he kneaded dough for 7/10 hours and let the dough rest for 1 6/10 hours. Then he baked the dough for 4/10 hours. How long does it take to make each batch of dinner rolls? So, it doesn't really matter how many batches he's making because we're focused on the time. So, how long did he knead the dough for? 7/10 of an hour. How long did he let the dough rest for? 1 6/10 of an hour. How long did he bake it for? 4/10 of an hour. For us, it doesn't really matter how many batches he's making because we just want to know how long it takes to make one batch. So what do you think we're going to do with all this time? These are all, our unit is hours. We're going to add them. All right, let's pause here, add, and then we'll talk. 7 plus 6. When we add numbers in a column, sorry about that glare. When we add numbers in a column, we want to start with just 2 first. So 7 plus 6 is 13, plus another 4 is 17. So there's my unit, hours. We can put down the 7, regroup the 1. And of course, we want to put our decimal point in. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. How long did it take the chef to cook each batch of dinner rolls? It took him 2 7/10 of an hour. Awesome. Let's check out our next word problem. Our next one says, number 4, there are 19 3/10 cups of flour in a bag. The chef uses 2 9/10 cups for making cookies. Then he uses 1 2/10 cups of sugar and 5 1/10 cups of flour for making banana bread. How many cups of flour are left? Wow, this is a 2-step problem. I could do this in 2 different ways. I could add all of the flour that he uses, or I could subtract it from the total. I personally like to add first. So let's see what he uses. Remember, we're talking about flour only. They're trying to trick you a little bit. So the chef uses 2 9/10 cups for cookies of flour. All right, flour on my board. Then he uses 1 2/10 cups of sugar. Are they asking us about sugar? No, they're asking us about flour. We only want to add the decimals having to do with flour. So then it says he uses 5 1/10 cups of flour. So we're going to start by adding these two numbers. This is why it's important in word problems to read the problem, because they're trying to trick us by throwing in cups of sugar. We're not interested in cups of sugar. We're interested in cups of flour. So let's pause here and add how many cups of flour he used. 9 plus 1 is 10. Put down the 0, regroup the 1. 5 plus 2 plus 1 is 8. So he uses 8 cups of flour. We're not done though. That's not our answer. Now the second part says there are 19 3/10 cups of flour in a bag. So I'm going to erase that. So we know we have 19 3/10 cups in all. He used 8 cups of flour. So we need to subtract the 8 he used to figure out how much is left. Let's pause here to solve how much flour is left in his bag. Three take away 0 is 3. Bring down your decimal point. 9 take away 8 is 1. 1 take away nothing. I could put a 0 in there if I want, is 1. So he has 11 3/10 cups of flour left. Awesome. All right, let's take a look at our form. If your teacher feels like you need more work with this, they might add in some more problems. All right, so here is our decimals lesson 9 form. We're only going to do 4 problems today. So number 1 says barrel A contains 2 7/10 liters of water. Barrel B contains 3 9/100 liters of water. Together, how much water do the 2 barrels contain? We're combining those 2 numbers, which means we need to add. Number 2, Cameron measured 6/500 inches of rainwater on the first day of April. On the second day of April, he measured 8/300 inches of rainwater. How many total inches of rainwater did Cameron measure on the first 2 days of April? We want to know how much it rained in those first 2 days. What do you think we'll do with those 2 numbers? We need to add. Number 3, Alyssa ran a distance of 15 8/10 kilometers one week and 17 34/100 kilometers the following week. How far did she run in the 2 weeks? We want to know how much she ran all together. What are we going to do with those 2 numbers? If you guessed add, you're right. We need to add them again. And the last one. In the long jump event, Rhonda jumped 1 64/100 meters. Mary jumped 1 6/10 meters. Carrie jumped 94 100 meters. And Michelle jumped 1 600 meters. Who jumped the farthest? So here we're looking for what is the biggest number. It may be helpful for you to change those fractions into decimals or the decimals into fractions so they're easier to compare. But we want to know who went the farthest. What is the largest number there? All right, 4th graders, that's all for today. Until next time, see you then. Bye.